Larson. Let me get situated here. I'm Sergeant Beast Larson. Just call me Steve, as I am retired now. Got the question here today, the topic, the podcast. 2A, I don't know how to do the A, versus body armor. Personal protection body armor. So check this out. Predator armor. Let me show other side right here just for a second. Thanks for joining here. Post in the comment what state you're from. It kind of helps me to know about laws, different laws. I'm in the state of Kentucky. I know this is backwards here. Predator armor. I'll put a link in here. This is a level 3A vest. Do you prefer to have a firearm, to own a firearm, or body armor, or both? What do you think? What is most important to you? Now, me personally, I prefer to have both. I come from the military, Air Force. I got out of the Air Force at a young age at 22, got into law enforcement, police, worked a career and retired. So I wore body armor and had firearms. And my preference is to have both and to have several firearms. After retiring from police, I got in private security, and then I got into corrections. And corrections was different than police. I policed in Kentucky. I worked corrections in Georgia. And, you know, we had body armor that we wore as a stab vest at the prison, in the prison. Outside of that, we didn't wear body armor, you know, or carry firearms. That wasn't a thing. Benjamin, hi. Tell me what state you're from, if you don't mind. Kind of helps me to know. Kentucky, for instance, this is what's important. Hi, Robin. Let me know what state you're from. UK, Benjamin, UK. Okay, this is going to be different for you then. But first, in Kentucky, as long as I'm not a convicted felon, I am allowed to possess and wear body armor. And I wear this body armor. Akamal, Kentucky, where are you from? Are you in the States or not? And if you know in the UK, let me know what their policies are. But in Kentucky, I got this Predator body armor, Predator level 3A. It'll stop a 9mm, 357-44, rifles up to 308. I'm allowed to wear and possess it as long as I don't commit a crime. And hi, everybody. I am Sergeant Beast Larson. You can see my hat. I have an apparel store. I'll put a link. Louisiana. Okay, great. Thank you. So let me get this all. So I can wear this body armor. So when, 2 weeks ago we had the protests, we did have a peaceful protest here in the county. I live I'm next to a sanctuary county in Kentucky with Sanctuary City. So they do have protests. What am I saying about that conflict, Akmal? I will talk in a minute about that. I had this vest. I do have a carry concealed permit, number one. Secondly, I have a LEOSA card, which after 9/11, the Patriot Act, being retired law enforcement in good standing, I qualify every year. I go get a paperwork signed by my agency, which was the Boone County Sheriff. And I can carry in places, airports and other facilities, schools, libraries, anywhere that has a sign that says you can't, I can. Anyhow, what is your choice? So tell me the answer here. Welcome. How you doing, Effie, Robin? Do you prefer to own a firearm or body armor? Here's why. Back when I was young, just recently married back in the 90s, we were down in Lexington, Kentucky shopping, and somebody tried to carjack me. I did not have body armor that day, but I, being off-duty police officer, had my Glock 40 caliber, my Glock 22. And the situation escalated coming to the window. My wife was driving. I did pull my Glock, pointed it to Guy, and told him to get blankety blank back in the truck, or he's going to be eating lead. He got back in the truck and they sped off. Now, this is back in the 90s when carjacking became really big, especially for gang initiation. And, you know, Atlanta, Georgia was probably the #1 worst city for carjackings statistically. So that was back then. I didn't wear my police issue point blank body armor off duty, but you know, now being retired, being older, I'm 58 now. I know I don't look it. I do wear this, and you can wear this, you know, under about anything. Let me show you, for instance. Just reach and grab this shirt. So I got, and when I wear this now, I usually just wear a tank top. It's got a little Velcro straps up here. I'm used to that. Panel goes in the front, panel in the back. I took out a panel just so I can show you what this is. It is thick, it's bendable. See, like this? Conforms to the body. My next test of this is to have my wife wear it to see how this flexibility works for a woman. Okay, so I have my body armor on. You may notice that this shirt's a little bit tighter. I usually wear a looser shirt, a 2X, when I have this on and I'm out. But you don't notice the Velcro straps. You don't really notice the panel, but I'm protected. I'm getting some more carriers. I have more panels, soft and hard panels, and that way, if my wife, if this conforms and fits to her okay, you know, women have breasts and it's different for them. So we got to figure this out. You love my cabinets. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you. You want me to answer some questions here? Yes, I did vote for Trump. I was in the military. I was overseas in Turkey in 1988 when Iran was doing some things, bombing, torturing, using nerve agents on people. I am for the bombing that we just did. I am for this. Yes, I'm goated. Thanks, gamer. I'm old enough. You know, I'm like triple OG. You know, I worked in prison. I tell them, hey, my age being over 50, I qualify. I'm triple OG. You're welcome. Thank you for your service there. You'd let Donald Trump date your sister. That's interesting. Interesting. So do you prefer, number one, would you own a firearm or would you own body armor? What do you prefer? I prefer both. I can't show firearms on YouTube, on podcasts and streams, but I do have several of both. And I have a larger, where did I put it? Put it right here. This is my 3A. It's called Concealable Soft Armor by Predator. I also have this much larger with the side panels right here. They refer to them as a trauma assistance, but it is a larger puncture stab proof vest, correctional type vest that you would have. Don't trust signs or trust your gut. Okay, trust your gut. Rocket launcher. Okay, nobody's telling me here. Telling me in here is a preference. You know, what state are you from? Are you allowed? Have you looked? Google it real quick. Are you allowed to have and wear body armor in your state? A lot of states do allow this. Kentucky says yes, as long as you're not a convicted felon, and number two, you're not using it during the commission of a crime. So for self-protection, you can put this body armor. Thank you there, gamer. Body armor, body armor. Gamer. 2A, both? Are you for both? Having both? I mean, you wear this for protection. Say you're driving to the grocery store. How many times, you know, I live in the Cincinnati tri-state area, Cincinnati, Ohio. There's been, in the last year, 4 shootings, at least that I can think of, at a Kroger's, in a parking lot, inside the door. The armed security have had to be in a shootout. The police in Cincinnati got in a shootout. There's somebody that went in a store with a firearm and shot and came out, and the police engaged with a firearm. So You never know what you're gonna run into. And I'm double checking something here. You know, I'm not a master. I was a sniper. I've been on 2 SWAT teams and 2 special teams. I am not a master on here. I know I can post a comment. I just haven't found the right button. Do I like the WWE? Yes, Goldberg. Hello, Maria. I'm not ho. I think you meant to say hi. Hi ho. Hi ho, hi ho. Hola. Hola, que pasa? Not so. Noodle, you need to watch more videos. Don't forget to subscribe, Noodle. Hit the subscribe button there. That way, when you're lonely, you can check out and you can see some different videos. And I do have a podcast. It's called Painting for PTSD. I do have PTSD, and I've after finally figuring things out. Check this out, folks. I painted this picture. Let me back up so you can see all this. My smiley face. And this is me putting down guns and weapons and doing something that's a little more creative, peaceful, silent. Check this out. It's my first project. I painted a turtle that's in the garden. It's a big turtle statue, different colors. I'm painting a bear on a log statue. Well, it's a garden thing, and it's about, I can't show you here in my hands, but it's about 3 feet wide, has a couple bear cubs, and I'm painting that, and as well as another picture. But it kind of looking for peace in a world that is not quite so peaceful. Not quite so peaceful. Hit the like button. Just while you're talking to me, hit the like. Give me a few numbers up there so I can see some likes. I do enjoy talking, but this is very serious. You know, we have the protests a couple weeks ago, immigration protests. And regardless of what side you're on, if you're for it or against it, you still got to go to the grocery. You still have to go pay utility bills. I have 3 dogs and 4 cats, Maria. Got seven animals. Pets are great for stress relief. They're great for trauma relief. I have been in protest as an officer. I've worn the vest. I've worn the mask, the gas mask, stuff thrown at me. Stuff in a prison. I worked in 2 special teams in prison. A lot of craziness going on in there. And there's more than just bricks and rocks thrown at you if you work in corrections. Feces, body fluids are crazy. I'm in a room with the door shut to Maria because I can't hold the 4 cats that want to crawl all over me and my little puppy at the same time. They kind of get very distracting. So sorry, I can't bring them all in while I'm doing this. 2 hands, 7 pets. Sorry. You do see them. They frequently, Maria, if you subscribe and follow and look at my other videos. Most of the time in the podcast, I have a little white dog, a Chihuahua Chinese crested, that jumps in. And you'll also see a couple of the kittens. Well, they're growing now. You'll see me holding them. But check out some past ones. Jackson, hi, tell me what state you're from. Comments. We're commenting on my pets and everything in the cabinet. But tell me, do you prefer? Does anybody have? Are you interested in body armor? For instance, I'm going to post a link. This Predator armor I got. It's $330 on sale for $300. Sign up with your email. You get 10% off. America, thank you. Then you can. $300 down to $270 with your 10% off. It qualifies for free shipping. So $270 plus your state tax. And they have the program Sezzle, which is like Klarna. I make 4 bi-weekly payments. So you divide that into 4. I'm paying $60-some. I just made my second one. I got a Memorial Day sale, so it only cost me $62 times 4. But they sent this out to me. I got it in less than a week. So I'm running around. I'm going to post office. I'm going to Walmart. I'm going to Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever I need to go with this on. My t-shirt like I showed you. And I'm protected. Also, I got a firearm carrying a holster behind here. So you too can have your own, protect your family. And I've got 2 sets of soft, a hard panel, plus I've got this stab one that's a big one, a little bit more of an exterior one. So I do have 4 sets. I used to go to the gym up until last year, Crunch, when I had spine fusion surgery, and I'm looking for neck surgery coming up here really soon. So I'm not at the gym right now. Haven't been for about 18 months. Kind of retired. Used to do powerlifting and strongman. I used to. I do have, and also I'm going to post a link, these little green stickers up here, Bear Creek Arsenal. And if you're interested, that they do have some 223 caliber, which is the AR-15 on sale for $297. They also do payment plans. Yes, I'm still in good shape. I can still fight and do things. I got 6 screws in my back, but if I needed to, the worst thing that happens is a screw gets dislodged and it pokes me and it hurts. But I've taught self-defense. Thank you for you sub. Thank you, gamer there. I've taught self-defense for 27 years. I do enjoy fighting. I love to fight, actually, is the problem. And that in strongman is what led to displacement of some disc, accelerated degeneration of my disc, and that's why my spine and my neck up here are all jacked up. That's why I need surgery. Had a spine fusion. I probably need another one, but I got to do neck fusions and correct all this problem first. Correct this to my hands. You know, I Googled mass shootings 2 days ago, and talking with my wife after another school shooting situation happened outside of the U.S. And you know, in June alone, and they're qualifying these as 3 people shot or more during an incident. 3 people or more shot. And there's over 25 in this month alone in the United States. Over. Secret Hacker, yo, how you doing? That's an interesting name. So you don't hack me, please. I'm just a 58-year-old dude talking about stuff. Spinal disc degeneration occurs with age. Yes, it does. It does. But I know specifically in 2011 in Strongman, I was doing a 700-pound yoke walk, where you walk with the weight back here. It's really not good to walk with heavy weight because you're moving. And thanks there. And that kind of caused some disc. I felt a pinch, and I kind of backed off certain types of training and continued to go. RJ Easton, hi, how you doing? Tell me where you're from, RJ. I'm in Kentucky. And that kind of accelerated my spine. So I kept going and going, kept fighting, kept teaching fighting. And then it just really caught up to me last year. The damage got bad enough, pinching the nerves got enough where I started falling down. And I fell down about 5 times in 12 days, down the stairs in my house, twice the front, down the steps, hit my head on the front door. And by the time I got to the surgeon, I went to his office, saw his PA on a Tuesday, did x-rays, MRI the next day, saw the surgeon on Friday. He said, next Friday morning, be here at 5, your emergency surgery. That's how bad my L4, L5 got. I still have degeneration in the rest of my disc. I'm crunched to answer your questions, and I will. It just comes with age, yes. I did some things that just made it go a little worse, as you can tell from the gray on my beard. But I've enjoyed life. I got a box full of trophies. Check on my YouTube channel. I posted a motivation video recently. You can see me sitting at a weight bench, surrounded by trophies and strongman. I won a sword. I won a knife another time. Won different types of trophy objects. RJ Eason, yes, I'm okay. Well, I'm disabled. Going through a long process of disability like this. I won't be able to do certain things. No more running, fighting, weightlifting like that anymore. But I've written 2 books. Up here, if you see, 2 of these books are mine. I'll put those in the comments here when I'm done. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them on, well, here, I'll get them and I'll tell you. You can find them on Amazon, even on Walmart. You can order them online on Walmart bookstore. My movements will be limited. My neck is already limited in movement, so fusing my neck, hi Jackson. No, it's okay, RJ. No regrets. Life is good. I retired from police with good and honors. But here's the book. So it's called Officer Perception, Surviving Danger. As you can see, I have a partner, Timothy Amdahl. Timothy has over 30 books to his credits. He's a former Marine and retired from Illinois Corrections. The second book we wrote, I'll put them side by side, is called Why People Kill. I have interviewed and been around and talked to several, let me get this up here, several people. Well, and I worked in a prison in Georgia, and you know what, down there, there's a lot of people doing life without, with multiple murders and convictions and life sentences. So I've been around a lot of mass killers and serial killers and interviewed. In particular, in his book, a hitman enforcer for the MS-13 right before he died of cancer talked to me about over 50 murders and how when he was very young, he attempted his first murder, was unsuccessful, and scared him to death. And then he actually committed his first murder at the age of 12, successful. His first attempt was before the age of 10. So very interesting why people kill. This is the Black Book theory. What were people thinking in a moment just prior, in the seconds, in the minute and a half, just prior to committing their murder? What was their choice? There's a chapter in here. Well, let me go ahead. Let me share a little bit. Little spoiler alert here, just to give you an idea. This is my wife, autographed by myself and my partner Tim. Let me kind of tell you here the chapters. A little bit about me, Steve's story, Tim's story, definition of murder. We have to explain legally, you know, murder, homicide, reckless homicide, some things like that. We've got in the line of duty, where we're talking a little bit more about officers and military, you know, as a self-defense type thing. Killer athletes. You'd be surprised how many athletes, MMA, WWE, football players, baseball players that have done different intentional murder as well as DUI and a wreck and it's vehicle homicide. But you'd be surprised how many of our professional athletes involved. Killing our children, opportunity, these are the chapters. Killers for hire, prison murder, pure evil. Pure evil is an excellent chapter. Improving our safety. And Tim and I talk about this. Improving our safety. What's one way we improve our safety, everybody? Is to go buy some body armor. Predator body armor. You'll check out my link and you'll see. I live in Kentucky, Martha. And as I said that, the picture is me. That picture is me. That's funny, RJ. Most of people are murdered by their relatives. Well, I started police. I got military and I started police in 1991. And back then, Johnny, the FBI statistics, because they teach you this, in police, they're always about statistics, but that doesn't really tell you what people are doing and why. It doesn't tell you patterns of crime. It just says on a piece of paper, and they said back then, 92% of murders were committed by somebody that the victim knew. Now, then they turn around and say, in the next paragraph, they'll say 40% of murders are unsolved. So those two, think about this. Got my body armor on, got my 2A over here, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Doyo, hang on to that thought. Let me answer this question and I'll tell you a connection to Stone Cold Steve Austin that I have. Hold on. So if 92% of the murders are committed by somebody you know, 40% are unsolved. How does that work? So 8% of people are killed by strangers, then that means 40% are unsolved. You know, those two, that's like a way off balance. Statistically now, and I haven't looked recently, but it's a lot less than 92 committed by family members. It's a lot less. It's down into the 70s the last time I checked, which was a couple years ago. When we wrote that book, Why People Kill, that was released when I was running for political office, running for county jailer to fix the corruption in the county jail here in Kentucky. So if you say 70% are killed by family members, that leaves 30% by strangers. That would help with the 40% being unsolved. And then here's the third part of that, RJ, being unsolved. Unsolved means there's not a criminal charge. So a family member can commit murder on another family member, actually, but it's not been proven, so it falls under the unsolved category, if that makes sense. Okay, Doyo, you're still there. Yeah, those stats do contradict each other, but Johnny, does that make sense when I kind of balance this out? And then ultimately, if there's, okay, Doyo, I'm coming, Doyo. If the unsolved means the family member's not charged, everybody knows, you know, Uncle Billy Bob is the one that committed the murder. You know, Aunt Susie committed the murder, but they haven't proved it yet, so it's still unsolved in that 40% category. Okay, RJ, makes sense. RJ, Don, Johnny, Doyo, y'all three, you're gonna love this. I was working at the prison in Georgia from 2015 to 2019. And that's when Stone Cold Steve Austin had that show on TV. Remember Broken Skull Ranch? And he'd have those dudes get out there, you know, some athlete dudes, some CrossFit dudes. They had a policeman every now and then. And they'd get out there and they'd have to, like, do things in the sand. You know, they race each other up the hill while they're shoving and kicking at each other, get up on top of the hill and grab the flag. Whoever wins that event advances to the next. And it ends up in the winner of the episode racing against the current past winner, and then whoever wins that obstacle course wins, you know, $10,000 or whatever it was. Well, in 2017, I submitted a video. In 2017, I was 50 years old. I was on the special teams at the prison, running, working out like crazy. Great shape. Great freaking shape. Looked like this, had my goatee, had my head shaved. I submitted a video and the paperwork package where you did it online, uploaded your video, talking about how you work out. So I'm talking about how I work out. I'm on the special teams. I run. I teach self-defense at the prison. I'm doing this stuff. I submitted that. And this was about end of April. I, you know, had a May submission date for the filming. We're going to start like in the end of the fall. Well, on Father's Day, I'm driving to work at the prison. Phone rings from LA, and I'm like, who's calling me on Sunday at LA? I have no idea. And breaking news, another shooting in Cincinnati, Ohio last night. Okay. So I'm driving to the prison, phone rings from LA. I just hit it, sent it to voicemail. Gets off the phone, you know, gets done. So I go and hit the voicemail. I'm listening. And this lady calls and says, "Hi, I'm calling from the TV, from Fox TV, the show Broken Skull Ranch. We received your submission. We would like to do a phone interview with you as soon as possible about advancing in the selection process." I'm like, ugh! So I hit the number, call up. She answers the phone. I was like, I'm sorry. I was on the phone with my wife. You know, I'm driving to work. I got time to talk. I had an hour drive to the prison. So she's talking to me. We're talking about how we work out, what we do at the prison. She was fascinated with this, how physical a max security prison is, where, you know, 97% of the inmates, 1,050 inmates, are life without parole. And I'm like, we have to run here. We have to run there. We wear this gear. We wear this heavy vest. How do I train? It's hot in Georgia, but I run. I was running 5 days a week. Working out at home, had a home gym. I told her I did strongman and powerlifting. I still have all that weights, that equipment. I said, if you look at my YouTube video and stuff, you're going to see some things I started. And she's like, yeah, I saw that. I checked it out. I'm going to, thanks for subscribing, RJ. She says, I'm going to approve your submission, and you will now be in the final selection process with the producers, where they sit down at the table just like American Idol. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to be on a TV show. And this was important because I watched this all the time, my wife and I. But in the prison, on the TVs in prison everywhere, you know, these inmates were watching this TV show with them, and I told them, and I go into prison that day, and I was on the special teams, and I go around to the dorms. It's Sunday, it's quiet, and we'll go in there with my partner. We're kicking on the door, and everybody's like, "Man, what's up, Beast?" And I was like, "Dude, I had a phone call today. I advanced, I told them what happened. I advanced to the producer's cut. I'm in the last part. Either I make it or I don't. I get picked or I don't." And everybody's all like, "Man, we're going to see the Beast on TV. This is going to be cool." I went to the warden, on the next day on Monday. He was like, "Oh, yeah, hell yeah. If you get on there, I'll approve your vacation and we'll get you there. No worries about it, man. This will be awesome to represent us." And a couple weeks go by, and I got a phone call again from the same lady, same number. And she said, "I want to thank you for your submission. Unfortunately, you were not picked to be in the season, in the episodes. We really do like what you're doing." And come to find out what had happened, and with my background being from military, from police, from corrections, and then being in excellent shape at 50, I would have been that, I could have been that long shot going against the young guys. But thanks, Doyo. It was rough, but it still gave me that just motivation. Like, man, I was this close. I just kept my training going, kept my health going, kept my eating going. Yeah, Johnny, but sometimes, I've been a strongman where there's 20 dudes show up in my weight class. There's only one first, one second, one third. Only 3 people get on that podium. I've been in all 3 places, first, second, third, and I've also been in where I didn't make the top 3. It's you do your best and you just don't give up. You don't say no. You don't say it's bad. You just do it. You just do your best. Fitness and exercise for me and health is a lifetime commitment. And that's why it took up to the age of 56 when I stopped training, because started having some health, and I got RSV. It took me 3 months to get over that. And that's because I had COVID pneumonia 4 times prior to that. So, hey, I got to the age 56 and thinking I was going to MMA fight. I didn't tell you that yet, guys, Johnny, Dojo, RJ. 2 years ago in 23, and this is after I ran for county office. I lost. Then I worked for a governor candidate. I was his bodyguard, his head of security, and then chairman of volunteers. Who did they pick over me? Oh, I forgot to tell you this. Is the guy, I forget what his name was. This guy was like this big around. He was CrossFit and had red hair. I liked him. But that season in 2017, all the people in the episodes were young, like CrossFit runners, triathlete type of dudes. They really picked candidates that were like under 180 pounds that could be a contestant ultimately for the obstacle course in the end. And they got away from having larger guys or bodybuilders or strongman. They really went to the CrossFit people. So I kind of like CrossFit. Yeah, little boys with soft hands. Well, no comment there. But, hey, RJ, that's okay. Thank you for that. Guys, Johnny, Doyo. It was a time I almost made on TV. I almost was there. No sweat. You know what happened next? The Rock had a TV show called The Titan Games. So guess what I did? The Beast here did the submission, did the stuff. I submitted to be on season 2, season 3. I didn't get picked. But you know what? It gave me a temporary moment of focus. Because, in weightlifting, you can't have long-term goals because it gets depressing, because it's too far out. You need short-term. So when I see this, and I see that The Rock has a Titan Games, and I'm like, man, I need to be on Titan Games, man. I could be a Titan. The Beast on a Titan, I'd be like, blah. Difference of CrossFit and calisthenics. Calisthenics is not really using the weight, it's just the body. So a calisthenic competition would be like pull-ups, muscle-ups, push-ups, jumping jacks, stuff like that. CrossFit, they're like deadlifting your body weight 100 reps, which I did a video of doing that. It's on my YouTube channel under challenges. Go to challenges on my YouTube. You'll see some of these different things. CrossFit does clean and press a bunch of times. They may do a bunch of lunges with weights, and then they're going from different event to event. Then they may put on a weighted vest and go do a 5K run one day. May do cycling. I've seen them sit there and cycle where they have to cycle 3 miles, 5 miles, something. I forget what it was. I do like and enjoy watching CrossFit. But they're just different types of things, and now they're drug testing because they have some guys doing some crazy. You know, the muscles, you can really train them hard. You got to really train hard, but they can only do so much. And I've seen some people on there, some men, some women on there, like, you know, they weren't born that way. They didn't get that way in a gym. I've worked out my whole life and never took steroids once. Never. Bench 405 at the 198 weight class. My deadlift was only 500. My squat was 575, was the best. Obviously, I didn't do steroids, you can tell. But anyhow, protecting your body. Guess what? Having muscle helps. Having muscle helps prevent injury when you get in a fight and people are beating on you. Body armor helps. Let's talk about this body armor for just a second here. You know, RJ, Crunch, you know, thanks for staying on listening here, Johnny. I mentioned this in a different video, but imagine my wife has had whiplash twice in car accidents. Airbag has deployed in her face. You know, she's okay from this. Got a little bit of a pinching nerve over here, but she's okay. But imagine a seatbelt coming across right here. If you got the seatbelt, bam, that seatbelt leaves that mark on you really hard. If you've got some soft body armor, that seatbelt hits right here, seatbelt's not going to tear you up. The airbag deploys kind of to your face and down. This is going to help protect you down here. And you can, with the company, you can buy the different carrier and the extra pouch you put in here called a trauma. It's a trauma plate that goes in the side to protect your flank over here. But imagine, you know, I talked earlier in this video about the attempted carjacking in Lexington, my wife and I. If you got body armor and you're just every day, whatever you're doing, concealed under here, and somebody comes up to do whatever to you, they want to stab you, punch you, you're not going to puncture this. This 3A vest I got on right now, you can't put a knife through it. You can't put a poker through it. The bullet ain't going through it. I'm sorry about that, RJ. Hope she's okay. But this vest helps you in that kind of trauma and car wreck. This vest would help you. You're just walking along and you fall and trip into a curb. You fall over, fall off something. You got this little bit of extra protection, not just from bullets, not just from punches or kicks, but from falling on curbs, falling on brick walls, falling on objects. You just never know. You know, these things, I mean, it cost me $260. I have this the rest of my life, and I can put it on and wear it when I'm out anytime I want to. My wife and I were present, let's see, what year was this? 2015, 2014. In Cincinnati, Ohio, Monroe Outlets. We were there when there was an active shooter. Just about 8:45, we were in a courtyard, and I went to, because I used to be security director. Good, I'm glad she's okay now. I used to be a security director in malls for a company after police. And I know, here's a secret. If you go in the food court at the end of the night, right before, especially like Chinese, Oriental food, Japanese food, they shut the registers down and they say cash only. I don't have any cash, only credit card. A lot of times they'll give you a whole plate of food for $1. So I used to go out and get a bunch of Chinese food, you know, chicken and rice for $1, 5 minutes before 9. Well, we were traveling from Michigan back to Kentucky to visit, stopped in, went into the mall, we're going to get a little food. I hear gunshots. I did have my gun with me, my Glock. Didn't have any body armor on. Get everybody secure, get this, here's some more gunshots. I'm like, you know, everybody in here is safe. Got security, mall security was there, was inside. Monroe Outlets is the outdoor outlet. So I go outside, I have my hand, you know, kind of to the side, but not showing anybody my gun to scare anybody. I hear the shots, I go around here to scream, and I see people running away. So I'm going too, and when I get there, I see 2 police officers, and I see a guy, this shoplifter, 2 times tried to run over the officer. Second time, officer jumped on the hood and shot through the windshield and shot him. And he was just laying there screaming in his shorts. Got shot twice in the thigh and 1 in the butt cheek. I was in 1994 at UC Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio. There was another police officer, another department, in a pursuit that had crashed that was in a critical condition, and it was one of those things. Glock 22. I'm a fan of the 40 caliber. I like the 9mm, the 19. You know, a lot less recoil, and I just like his smooth shooting. But I'm a fan of the 22 with the 40, the bigger hole. And okay, 1994, my wife and I were over in UC. We're in ICU, like on the 5th floor. A shootout broke out in an emergency room because there was a prior Blood and Crip shootout in Cincinnati. One of the gang members, I can't remember which side, got hit, but he was in there with bullet wounds being treated in the emergency room. Well, the gang members sent some dudes over, some enforcers, to finish him off. Well, the victim had some of his buddies there, so they had a Blood and Crip shootout in the hospital on the 1st floor, and we were up on the 5th floor. Lieutenant up there, and there was probably 80 of us in uniform. I was still in uniform from work. And he was like, you guys over here, you know, we have jurisdiction. We go downstairs. You guys stay in here and protect this officer. You know, you 6, 8 guys, whatever, a small group, you go to the hallway and protect outside the ICU on this floor. So he divided up in 3 groups, but 2 times I was in a facility, in a place where there was an active shooter. That would have been a great time. Of course, in uniform, I had a vest on, but the other time in the mall, I did not have a vest on. When they tried to carjack me in Lexington in 1997, I did not have a vest on. So anyhow, just wanted to get some opinions. I've enjoyed. I'm about to jump off here. I hear if you give me just 1 second, I have a little pet at the door dying to get in. I'll show you. Come here, guys. Come on. Here you go, buddy. This is one of my podcast buddies. I have 2 little dogs, but he's like mine. He's the one always around me. And Big Dog, he doesn't come in. He doesn't care. And 4 kittens. So this is my Chihuahua Chinese crested. That's why you see from the hair. If you put his hair down, he's always got to shake his head, fluff his hair back up. But this is my little buddy right here. Yep, there you go. He's just looking. There you go. See? We're just looking and talking. Come here, sit down. We'll go outside. Thanks for joining. Thanks for all the great comments, the likes. RJ, Johnny, Doyo, Maria, thanks for everything, for your comments, for being there and supportive. Think about this. When I get off, I'm going to put some links in right now and let you know where I got this vest. Also, the company I got my AR from, called Bear Creek Arsenal, they do have these AR-15s, 223 caliber, 5.56 on sale right now for $297. $297, you know, plus tax, and I believe it's a $20 shipping. Same thing there. You sign up with your email. I don't know if they do it on the sale, but the regular items, you can get 10% off with signing up. They ship it to your local dealer, gun dealer, and then go over there and pick it up. They also do 4 payments. It's not Sezzle, it's a different company. And I know it, it's just off the tip of my tongue. It's once a month with that company, not bi-weekly like Sezzle. But you get your AR for $300 bucks. 4 monthly payments. Can't beat it. I'll put the links in here in just a second. Bye. Thanks, RJ. Thanks, everybody. Oh, Clay, don't say that about RJ. No, he does not. That happened. Everybody quit doing that 20 years ago. That's not fun when they put the red dye. Thanks, everybody. This is the Beast. The Beast. Check it out. The apparel store. I do have my podcast, Painting for PTSD. Hats and t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts. Same as the Beast. And I'll get up real close. Is the Beast, Sergeant Larson, right down here in the small letters. Check it out. Y'all have a great day, a safe and peaceful day. Happy July 4th. But you'll see me again here before then. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.